Okay, so I just want to start off. Welcome everyone to episode 2 of Women's Podcast. My name is Zakia Muhammad. I'm a Morgan State undergrad intern for EDAC at Morgan with the Women's Podcast. Here we have Danielle. She is the host of the Women's Podcast as well as also the owner of Unboxing Change. And then we also have E of Women's Creative Chat. Today she's here to discuss her event, and that is Moving Past Imposter Syndrome and Thriving in Your Creative Life, which will be Friday, March 13th at 6 to 8:30. And we also have Pretty Kitty of MD here. She specializes in women's holistic wellness, and she will be vending at the event. So we're super excited for all of that. Basically, to kind of get things going, we want to start by discussing change within the community. That's really our goal here within Women's Podcast, is to really support and uplift women, creative entrepreneurship, business owners, all of that good stuff. So I'm going to pass the conversation over to Danielle and get some of her input.
Awesome. Y'all give it up for our Morgan State University intern. Like, do you see how exciting is that? Like, I'm so proud of you, Z, for opening us up and leading. And me as your host, Danielle, is so excited to have these two lovely ladies on to really just get comfortable with all things business, entrepreneurship, and really collaborative creativity. So I will pass it right back to Z because she's going to start us with our intention. It's actually a quote, and we're going to jump into our missions.
Yes. So there's a quote that I had found by Madam C.J. Walker, and her quote had said, "I got my start by giving myself a start." So basically, with that quote, I just wanted to emphasize the idea that we all have to start somewhere, especially when it comes to business. And I hand make bonnets and I sell them. I just got into that last year, but basically start conversation about getting people to understand it's going to be a little challenging at first if you're thinking about starting a business, but if we really support one another and that everybody can move in their strength. So really, by establishing a safe zone within our chats and our conversations, we'll be able to kind of instill that kind of support within women business owners, and not just women business owners, but everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Z. So you were kind of cutting out a little bit, but I just want to recap that we gave ourselves a start. So that really jumps into E. I'd love to hear how you started. Like, what is Women's Creative Chat? What is the mission? What is the mindset? What's the motivation behind this?
Sure. So I've always been a creative person. Ever since I was small, I created plays and I was into fashion design and poetry. And I always really had a drive to express myself in different ways. And as I got older, and I sort of went the traditional route of going to college, coming out, getting a position, but it wasn't really anything that I loved or was passionate about. And I would go to sometimes networking events on behalf of my job, and I noticed that everything was always so focused on women in business, which is fine, but where was the space for creative entrepreneurs?
Yeah.
And so that really, after I left my full-time job to be home with my daughter when she was about 2, I was craving community. And it was difficult for me to get out, because, I'm here with my small child. So I thought, why don't I create something online? And we started doing these chats for Women Creatives Chat on Twitter, and then eventually moved them over to Instagram. And from that, this community grew out. And it just became a beautiful way to connect with other women who were creating, from writing to if they were physically making something, dance, art, whatever. It became a beautiful way to be in community and just connect with one another on that level. And I think the other thing that's been so important for me with Women Creatives Chat is centering authenticity and, really showing up from a place that is heart-centered and not so much in this culture, everything is transaction driven. What can I get out of it? But that is so not the focus and the mission of Women Creatives Chat. It is really to be in deep community with one another and to be friends, not just, like I'm saying, not just business associates and what can I get from this relationship, but really connect with each other.
How do you like, first of all, craving community, that's a deep feeling, right? Because community is the place where we feel safe, where we thrive, where we are able to explore, imagine, right? But if you don't have that, and especially if you're an entrepreneur, like, where do you go, right? Where do you go to have an honest conversation about like where you are in business and how you need to get to your next step? Where do you go if you're not feeling as motivated as you used to, or you started the business, but it's not really reaching the people that you want to? Where do you go? And for you to have created that community, you must have a real like tap or, heartbeat for the women that are in there. So what do you typically, like, what are they feeling? What are the creatives feeling? Like, what are they experiencing in business that has connected and bonded them?
So I think one thing that a lot of creative women are dealing with, and this is what the event is going to be about, is imposter syndrome, feeling like you're not good enough, feeling like you're not supposed to be in the spaces where you are because maybe you don't have the same level of education or you don't have the same access to opportunities and those kinds of barriers that are often put up. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of the content on the Women Creatives Chat page is really focused on empowerment, daily messages that you are worthy, that you do not need anyone else's approval to do what it is that you're going to do. If you want to do it, if you'd like to produce a play, write the play, produce it. If you have to do it in your house, guess what? You did it. So it's about progress and not perfection. So that's one thing that quite a few women in the community deal with. Another thing too is building community around their brand.
What do you mean?
I think that we have to realize and understand as creatives that just because you create something and you think it's awesome, you have to connect your story, why you're creating what you're creating, to other people's stories. So that's another thing that a lot of creative women struggle with. How do I tell the story of my brand, of what I'm making, and connect it to these other women? Those are two things that I hear about a lot through DM and on the page.
That that sparks two things for me, and I want to get Erica involved in this too, because Erica, you're in the business of the holistic woman, right? You are touching and tapping into what we need most, right?
Yes, absolutely. The products that I offer are, the products that, one, for vaginal health. As women, that's something that we don't necessarily talk about. That's one of the things that is very taboo. If we need something for, let's say, that time of the month from another woman, we may whisper it, so definitely what the things that I provide are things that we definitely need to talk about in our community. So
I think it's interesting, going back to even just the telling of the story of it all, because I know Zakia, she is actually in a storytelling class at Morgan State University that she's currently taking, and is actually being one of the things that we're using to even move this podcast along, right? How do we tell the story of, all of the business women that we're touching in this Baltimore community, in the state of Maryland, in the United States, in the world, right? Because it expands. It's interesting to me when you are missing something as a woman, especially when you're in business, when you're designing yourself to service others, that if you don't have a community to connect with, you might find yourself covering up your natural beauty, right, Erica? Where you're just like, you know what? I don't even need to focus on what's going on down there, because if the face is beat, I'm fine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We always worry about, what's on the outside, what other people can see, but we never really worry about what's on the inside. And that's, more important than just making sure, like you said, our face is beat, so our hair is laid. So
Right.
definitely.
And E, with that, it's kind of like, well, how do you tell that story? Because I feel like all of us as women, we go through that phase where you're like, you know what, I'm not worried about it. I am just focused on what the outward looks like, because what's going on inside, I don't even want to deal with. But you do sometimes graduate out of that. And then you find yourself so confident that you start a business. How do you tell that story where, you still love that piece of you that got you to be this creative genius that you are now, but package it and develop it and brand it in a way that is profitable? How do you tell the story?
Well, I think that before you even put pen to paper and really think about what is the story of my brand, I think that getting back to, this is another thing that we focus on in Women Creatives Chat, is wellness, mind, body, spirit. And meditation and journaling are extremely important, because here you're taking care of your mind, you're taking care of your spirit, and you're taking care of your body. You're listening to your body. So I think that it's really important sometimes to step away from social media for a little while.
Yeah.
Take that alone and reflective time that you need to get really clear about first of all, how are you feeling as an individual? So once you sort of gotten that practice, that self-care practice started, then I think is when you sit down and you really begin to journal. Why have I started this business? What is the specific story behind that? You know what I mean? Like for me, like I was telling you guys earlier with Women Creatives Chat, it was a craving for community, because it was difficult for me, and it still is sometimes, to get out and be at things physically. So I think that the important thing is, again, the alone time, the reflective time, and then the sitting down and really mapping out and asking yourself some core questions. Why are you doing this? Who do you want to reach? And how does your story connect with the people that you want to reach? Because that's important too, because it's not just only about you. It's also about how your mission, vision, purpose connects to the people that you serve. Because if we're not serving people, then we don't really have a business. Because to me, a business is driven by service and heart.
Yeah. First of all, yes, a business is driven by service and heart. Yes. Thank you, E. Like, no, that definitely struck me right there. The biggest thing that I'm taking from this conversation personally is, now that we know that there's like-mindedness that we can seek, right? That you can really find places with other powerful women, powerful people, so you can extend this business, this brand. How do you get to the place where you're a leader in your industry? So the best thing about this podcast is that it was put together not only just to discuss what it is to be a woman in business. There's tons of those episodes, right? Let's talk about what it really looks like when you have to monetize these opportunities, these brands. How do you bring people together in a way that they are confident with spending with you, but more importantly, investing in themselves? So with that being said, like, what has been the best way for you to bring people through your business process, even if it's just a service that you offer, or, from, product to presentation? How do you get people to say yes to you?
So I think for me, one of the best ways is through the online events that I do, because those are a great way for people to see what Women Creatives Chat is about. They don't have to initially spend money, but they get a clear understanding of the vision. So when I say online events, I'm referring to my Meet the Maker series, where I open up the Women Creatives Chat Instagram page to creatives of all types. That's every other Monday. So that's twice a month. Someone comes on. They could be a visual artist, a hairdresser, a singer, and they talk about what their creative life is like. So you're getting to be in community with other women, and you're getting to understand what Women Creatives Chat is about. The second online event that I do is the Wellness Wednesday takeovers. And that's where I have women who are wellness practitioners that serve other creative women and women in business who come on and speak about what specifically they offer. Like I've had people come on and talk about herbs and different supplements that you can take that can help to center physical wellness. I've had people come on and speak about essential oils. So those are free offerings, which I think sometimes people feel like, oh, I don't want to give away too many things for free, but you want to give people value that they don't have to initially pay for.
Yep.
They can connect with what it is your overall mission is. And then quite a few of those people have converted, the people who are local have converted and come to the live Women Creatives Chat events. And some of those people have also vended at the events. And I have repeat folks that come back and vend and sell their creative products and stuff like that. So for me, the online events, the free online events have been a great way to funnel people into the live events. And then now I have the Women Creatives Chat store. And because of the relationships that I have developed online, I've been able to work with those women. Like I'm running a campaign right now on the Women Creatives Chat page that's all about creating your own opportunity, because we have these affirmation tote bags. So a lot of the women that are involved in that campaign are women that I have built relationships over time on social and in real life. And now we're creating this campaign together to highlight other creative women entrepreneurs. So I think that we have to be really intentional about serving people and giving value initially. That's not that you don't have to pay for. And then you're selling along the way, but it's subtle. It's not like, come to my stuff. It's like, hey, I've built a relationship with you. Now this is what I'm doing. I'd love for you to be a part of it.
So, and Erica, I'm gonna go into your process as well, but I want to really like tap in for like our listeners to be, right? The fact that the way that you started out building this business was not only to satisfy the creative community, but you wanted to add value immediately. The way that you added value was offering people to connect in the most comfortable and easy and consistent way using social media. You've invited them to online events where they're in the comfort of their home, their car, their workspace, their safe place, so they can learn something about themselves and the people that they want to serve by the way of business. So much so that you built up this audience of people that not only want to take advantage of the content that you're offering, but then also share what they have, their greatness that they have to give. And it's the kind of like water opportunity that, you know, anybody listening to this can take advantage of, where they could connect with you. They could physically go onto your page. They could see what happens on Mondays and Wednesdays and say, hey, I'm a person that has learned something or have something that I want to share. That is what creates conversion in community. And I think it's brilliant. I hope everybody is taking the notes, because that's what we do here on this podcast. We take the notes. Because that's a big deal, right? That's a big deal. Erica, now, so with you, you've got a product where you want them to physically use this piece of the body that they have brought to you to handle. How do you say hello to new business? Like, what is that experience with you?
Yes. So for me, I also have some online events that I do. I know for me, we usually just do, I do my self-care Sundays. Sometimes on my IG, I do giveaways. But I will say for the products one of the products that I do sell is the products for the yoni. So it can be kind of a personal conversation. So with that, I get a lot of information. I get a lot of contact through my DMs. Usually for me, it's when I'm out at an event. Like I often vend at different events throughout the year. Right now, I actually am doing events on Wednesdays at the Eye Candy Lounge. So it's actually a twerk fitness class. So it's kind of, right now, the women are more open because, of course, you're there for fitness and wellness. So you're thinking like, okay, well, let me think about, find out some more information about my yoni, or find out some more information about vaginal health. But it is something that is kind of a delicate conversation. For me, I like to put out memes and funny things online which can kind of break the ice and can kind of get people to just kind of DM you to find out, hey, can I find out more information? It's really good to put out reviews from other people. That's a good way for people to kind of contact me. But for those products, it is something that's more so of usually it's a one-on-one type of thing. They usually find me at my physical events, or they may just DM me. So that's how I can kind of get customers. But it is usually I'll get more when I'm doing something funny versus doing something informative. So
Okay.
kind of breaking the ice is what I believe gets people to start the conversation on my end, because it is with vaginal health.
That's interesting. So it sounds like you being a leader in your industry by way of events where you're comfortable having these quick and personal conversations with women that really might not even know where to begin, especially if they're thinking about their vaginal health as a whole. But they're also at an event where they might be thinking about their business and then their body and then their mind. It's definitely, it can be overwhelming. But what it sounds like is if it's a fun environment or if it's a place where they're like, you know what, listen, I'm totally fine. I can just ask. You have the information for them.
Absolutely. I believe when you have that, when you're able to talk to someone that's open about the information and they have the information that you may need, you're more likely to have that conversation. So with me, I'm very open about what it is that I do, and that, hey, we need to be more open about these conversations. These aren't conversations that we need to have just reading a book, or that we need to just talk to our girlfriends about, because your girlfriend may not have the best information either. So
yeah. So I think what will be interesting for our audience to understand too is about the two sides of the coin, on the sense where E is actually hosting this event, right, with one other person, and you are responsible for taking the audience on a journey of being able to inform them of who you are, what you're here to do with them today. But more importantly, how do you guide your audience through this conversation? How do you get your audience to participate in checking in to say, wait, is she talking about me? And if she is talking about me, do I trust myself to receive this information in a way that I can take action? How do you do that, E? Like, how do you make people feel comfortable and check in during this experience?
For this particular topic, and so just to go back, all the Creatives Connect events, they each have a different theme where it's an issue that creative women are dealing with. Mm-hmm. So the focus for this one, as I've said, is imposter syndrome. So I focus on using quotes. I focus on using video. I'm going to be putting something up actually this afternoon with Michelle Obama speaking about imposter syndrome. And then I make my own videos talking about the event and using language that I know, if you're a person that has dealt with or is dealing with imposter syndrome, language that resonates with you, and social media is my main vehicle or tool of doing that. I think it's really important to make sure that the language is connecting to the pain point, the issue. And I can talk about imposter syndrome because I have dealt with it. I still deal with it from time to time. So I want people to know that this is something that I struggle with. I have struggled with a lot when I was younger, and I still do from time to time, but I pushed my way through it. And these are some of the ways that I do that. So I think also often people, if they're doing these kind of events, they want to come off as the expert and feel like they have it all figured out. And I would rather be honest with people and say, this is something that I struggle with. This is why. Because then you can really open up a genuine conversation, as opposed to I have it all figured out.
Absolutely. And that's the most important piece. And like I said, Erica, I know that you can answer this too, but I have a different question for you under an engagement. But with E, you say that you still struggle with it, like, you know, what is it? Like, how do you reset yourself in a way that you're like, no, I am supposed to be doing this. I am supposed to be engaging and elevating and igniting these people. Like, how do you get it back if you start to lose it?
Well, I have deepened my faith practices.
Yeah.
I do meditation. I try to stick to doing it every day or at least every other day. And I use the app Insight Timer. There are quite a few women on there that I really love. I prefer women meditation teachers. I guess I'm just biased, but I just like their voices. And so there are also teachers on there that combine both prayer and Christian faith along with the meditation. That's been tremendously helpful for me. I am also a huge person in terms of affirmations. So that's another thing that is in the Women Creatives Chat store. And that was one of the first products that I released, affirmations for creative women daily. And one of those is, I am worth the creative life that I seek. Like, I'm worth this. And I spent 10 years in a job that didn't really fulfill me. And I didn't really realize I was doing this until I started to now think back. But my email password at that job, I always chose something that was motivational so that I could keep reminding myself. And I would listen to different talks and different ministers to keep my spirits uplifted. So I tried to really pour back into myself as much as I possibly can with mantras, with the affirmations that I write. And I'm reminded of something that I read recently from Maya Angelou, where she talked about the power of words. And she said, words they get on your clothes, they get on your furniture. Be careful about the words that you use. Yes. So that is my tool to constantly pour back into myself with these various tools, prayer, meditation, affirmations, so that I am reminded of my power and that my power is connected to God, to the divine.
Okay. Yes. That's it right there. That, you know, Erica, what happens to you? What happens to you? Because again, just like you said with the quote, that the words stay on you, they stay with you. And sometimes they're the ones that come out of our mouth, and you're the worst person. That, you know what I mean? You can tear your business, your life, your body down just by second guessing everything that you know that you're worth.
Yeah.
You begin with that.
Absolutely. You have to be, like, as you said, you have to be strong in your faith. I know for me, I do the self-care Sundays. So on Sundays, I usually try to put up something that will help you, help to remind you to take a moment out for yourself. So we're always helping other people, or we're always, as you said, taking from people. Some people are empaths. We'll take the emotions, we'll take the words, we'll take all of their energy, and then how do we, refill ourselves up? Sometimes we can get drained. So we have to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves, that we are strong in our faith, that we are just kind of releasing that negative energy and doing something positive, taking in something positive to replace the negativity in order to fill ourselves back up, in order to just stay on a path of just making sure that you don't go into like a darkness, or sadness, because sometimes you can take on, just being a business owner, you can take on you have to play so many different roles. So with that, you can get drained, and we just have to remember that we are human. We're not robots. We can't do everything. We can't just keep going and just say, oh, well, I'm not going to worry about this negative thing that was said or this negative energy that was around me. Sometimes we do have to focus on that and be intentional about replacing that negativity with positivity, so that we can be strong enough to continue on. So
I love it. It's so important. And Z, I want you to get your quote again, pull that out. Because, so the importance of this podcast for the EDUC Center is to connect, entrepreneurs to resources that are going to give them the opportunities to grow their business. And in order to successfully grow your business, you need to be committed to growing yourself as a person. The way that we do that is by connecting with like-minded professionals, people that are serious about their missions, people that are serious about their movement, so we can get things done, because we have been given vision, virtue, and value. And with that, it is so we can enhance this world that we live in. But I wanted Z to get her quote out. There are women and men, whoever listens to this, I believe everything is by design and all steps are ordered, happens for a reason. You're going to have a woman that's listening to this and she's going to be like, yes, you know what? I do need to go check this out. What is this pretty kitty? I want to go to the Women's Creatives Chat. Z makes bonnets. Where's this change? You know what I mean? We want her to be excited and listening, but how does she give herself the permission to start? Z, what is your quote? What was that again?
I got my start by giving myself a start.
Come on, Morgan State. So with that, with giving ourselves that permission to start, what do we want our women to know? What do we want our future entrepreneurs to know, the women that are already in business? How can we leave them with something today to get them ready to experience all that they have that you guys have to offer? I'll start with you.
So I think that the most important foundational thing to remember is that you came here worthy. You came here worthy. God has already given you everything that you need within you. Even if you don't feel that you have it, it's there.
Yeah.
And so it's extremely important for you to take the time to care deeply enough for yourself, to sit still, to center in on meditation, on journaling, and get really clear about what you want your life to look like. And then after you've done that and you've identified what those big goals are, this has been really helpful for me in terms of achieving different milestones, is I break it down like, okay, if I know I want to do an event in 3 months or 6 months, what is it that I need to specifically do to make that happen? I need to work with sponsors. I need to connect with speakers. I need to, connect with folks to help me promote what I'm doing, that kind of thing. And the other thing, let me just go back it up. Before you even start breaking the goal down, the other piece that's really important is, what is your intention with all of this? What is your specific intention? Because I just watched something yesterday with Oprah, and she talked about how intention drives everything. Why do you want to do what you're doing?
Right.
So once you understand what the intention is on a soul heart level, then you begin to break down these individual goals by the steps. And what you will begin to gain confidence as you see yourself checking things off the list. Okay, I got the speaker. Okay, I have my product out. Okay, people are buying it. And that will give you the confidence slowly to continue to do what you're doing, because you're going to be able to see the results.
Yeah. Erica, what about you? How do we give ourselves a start?
So I say that it definitely goes along with knowing that you came here worthy, but also that knowing that you came here loved as well. Because a lot of us, we don't give ourselves that permission because we don't feel that we deserve that permission, because we don't feel that we're loved. We look for love in other things and other places. So we know that we're loved, and we can say, you know what, so since I am loved, and I can go ahead and make sure I take care of myself, because I do have that love that I've been seeking. So they can start to take care of themselves by taking care of their vaginal health. Also, a lot of people come to me for the weight loss. So you definitely want to make sure that you take care of yourself, and because you know that you're loved. So I would say you want to start there, just knowing that you are somebody, and that since you are somebody, you should take care of yourself, because you want to be here and you want to be around. I think that's definitely something that you want to start with.
What do you call it? Z, what do you think? As a student, young entrepreneur, what do you think?
I would mainly say it's about the journey, not the destination. I know, especially when I started, just like with my bonnets, I know I'm not exactly where I want to be, but I'm perfectly fine with where I'm at. And that's because this whole time while I'm working, and not just with my bonnets, but with school as well, I know that everything is progressing in the way that I needed to progress. And it all started with me believing that where I want to be and where I can be is exactly where I will be. So I want to say it's about like making sure that, because I know I also had trouble in the beginning. I had my ideas and I had kind of an idea of where I saw myself or where I wanted to go, but all of that was jumbled because of self-doubt and not really understanding myself and my capabilities and my passions to the fullest extent that I could understand them. And so I would say, like, making sure that you're enjoying the progression, you're enjoying the journey and all the progress that you're making towards accomplishing the goals that you have. All of that is super important within the now. So
within the now. I think my final takeaway from this is the best way to give yourself a start is, if you're listening to this, I would re-listen to it. I would actually take notes on everything that was said today with this conversation, specifically with women in business. We have gone over how to create engagement that starts at no cost, that offers tons of value. We have talked about what it looks like to have events that include speakers and sponsors, something that we definitely need to totally have another conversation about that. I deal in sponsorship all day long. How do you connect others to your audience by powering your brand? You know, it's huge, right? But then more importantly, understanding that the customers that we sit before are entrepreneurs in the making as well, or they're going to be supporting the businesses that we are collaborating with. So to give yourself a start is to really check into the now, just like Z said, like, why are you listening to this? Why did you do this? Why did you take this 30 minutes, 35 minutes to find out more about this upcoming event? It was by design. It is for a reason. There is a goal there. There is something that needs to be released. So that's the start that I would want the men and women, but predominantly women that are listening to do, is to take some notes and then bring them back to us. Connect with, with E on Women's Creative Chat. Connect with Erica at Pretty Kitty. Talk about that. So that's what I would say. My last thing for this, ladies, is there anything that you guys wanted to touch on before we go? You know, we know that the event is coming up. We'll make sure that everybody has the opportunity to participate, and then of course connect with other vendors just like Pretty Kitty that'll be there with their businesses on display. Is there any words of wisdom, things you want to touch on or talk about before we leave? Erica, let's start with you. Is there anything that you wanted to touch on before we go?
No worries. We can start with me. So I just wanted to first say that when it comes to women, we must first understand that beauty does start on the inside. So, we must remember that you can't, have this beautiful face and then this nasty attitude. So that's one thing that we also have to remember. Also that I do deal with women's health. So I do deal with yoni steams, the cleanses, tightening ones, but I also have a business with CBD, and that deals with, and that helps with weight loss as well as with anxiety, depression. So that helps in other aspects. And I also do body scrubs. So I actually have several different ventures that I'm doing right now. So everything is for the woman, and everything is for just making sure that you feel beautiful, like I said, on the inside and out. Also, I just want to say that I really appreciate the opportunity to be on the podcast today, and that I just want everyone to come out to the event to view E's website, view the Women's Creative Chat website, get some of the items that they have in the store, and just make sure that that we all are just being a product of community. And that's just the, I guess what the whole topic is that E's doing, is just bringing together community, because we need more. There's so many Black women entrepreneurs and men that is just, it's something that we need to all connect. If we could all connect, we would definitely be a force. And so just wanted to say that I definitely appreciate this and think that we're on our way.
Okay. Yes.
Love it. I love it. I'm back.
Perfect. Welcome. Go ahead.
So I was going to say, I want to leave people with sort of piggybacking on what Erica said, the importance of community. And that's something that I work really hard to uplift on Women Creative Chat all the time. Community over competition, that we are all collaborators and partners, that there is enough space for everyone, that what you create, you can create that. Nobody else can copy it, because you bring your individual story, truth, values, expression to that work. And that Women Creatives Chat is really focused on continuing to cultivate spaces to help us connect with other creative women, and also to lift up the importance of wellness. And that's wellness overall, mind, body, spirit, as I've been saying here. And also to please stay up to date by going to the website, womencreativeschat.org. I post online events there. There's an e-newsletter that you can sign up for. And that with the WCC store, the whole idea behind the affirmation tote bags and the shirts and the affirmation cards is that you are surrounding yourself with positive messages to help you along your creative journey, so that you can center your own ascension, your own soaring, your own walking in your creative power. That's our tagline. Walk in your creative power. What you are uniquely created to do. Do that.
Ladies, yes. I think this, we thank you so much for taking the time to bring this value to our new audience. And we look forward to doing everything possible to share this. And we encourage you to do the same. Because those that will be attending and meeting and connecting are really, really in for a treat. And we really hope they take advantage of this opportunity. So we definitely want to leave with you all just giving your Instagram information. We'll definitely include it in the show notes, but I know Instagram is the easiest thing.
Yes.
Yes,
on the phone, they're listening. We'll give them a second, because take your phone and really just follow these women. You took the time to make it through the interview. It's for a reason. So E, how can they find you?
So the best way is at Women Creatives Chat on both Facebook and Instagram. And then the website is womencreativeschat.org.
And then if I wanted to go in there and shop, I would be able to do that on the website.
Yes, there's a tab. It says shop, and it takes you right to the online shop.
And I'll be able to get a bag that has an affirmation so I can walk in my creative power all day long.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying our listeners can do? They can get on there and shop. And then if I wanted to put a yoni egg in that bag, where would I go, Erica?
Yes. Definitely yoni eggs. We have jade and rose quartz yoni eggs. So you can go to @PrettyKitty of Maryland. And that's going to be on IG, on Facebook. And in my bio, I have a link tree. And the first link on my link tree is our Yummy Yoni Steam, Cleanse, and Veggie Stick link. So that you can click on that and you can get your at-home steams, your yoni eggs, as well as your tightening wands and yoni oil. So
it's just... And then, of course, sprinkled with a great conversation to make sure that you are who you already knew you were. These kitties are going to be awesome. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode number 2. Z, we did it. And thank you so much for being on, ladies.